Level 1. The Initiate. The door locks behind you. Not loudly, just a quiet click. But in the silence of the stone chamber, it sounds final. 12 figures sit around the circular table. Black suits, silver rings, no names spoken, just titles. You're standing in the center. A single candle burns in front of you. "Do you understand the cost?" one of them asks. You nod. That's the first rule of the society. You never say more than necessary. A folder slides across the table towards you. Inside, a photo, an address, a timestamp. 8:45 p.m. tonight. "Do you know why?" another voice says. "You only need to prove you can follow orders." The photo is of a man leaving a courthouse. You're not told to hurt him. You're told to watch him. Report who he meets. Report what he carries. Report everything. And most importantly, report nothing to anyone else. You leave the building with a burner phone, a temporary key card, and $1,000 in unmarked bills. The society calls this your first investment, not payment, investment, because they're investing in whether you're useful. At this level, you're invisible, disposable, replaceable. There are hundreds like you, initiates, runners, observers. You spend nights sitting in parked cars, watching entrances, memorizing faces, writing down license plates. The rules are simple. You ask no questions. You share no information. You complete every task. 2 weeks later, the same man from the photo disappears from public life. You never learn why. You learn something more important. You were just one piece of a much larger operation, and the society was watching you the entire time. How long you stayed focused, whether you panicked, whether you spoke to anyone. They know everything. 3 months later, you receive a new envelope. Inside is a silver pin, a triangle. You're no longer an initiate. You're useful now, and usefulness is the only currency that matters here. Level 2. The Courier. You learn quickly that information weighs more than money. Your job now is movement. Not ideas, not decisions. Movement. Every week you carry sealed envelopes between offices, warehouses, law firms, and private clubs. You're given routes, precise ones. Leave at 9:12 p.m. Arrive by 9:38 p.m. Stay exactly 3 minutes. Never open the package. Never ask what's inside. Sometimes the envelopes are thick. Sometimes they're thin. Sometimes they're warm. Once one of them leaks, dark red through the paper. You don't stop. You don't check. You finish the route. That night, you realize something important about the society. They're not testing loyalty. They're testing discipline. You're paid more now, $4,000 a week, cash, untaxed, invisible. But money isn't the reward. Access is. You start seeing the inner machinery. Politicians shaking hands with men who don't exist on paper. Judges receiving quiet visits. Corporate CEOs arriving through underground garages. The society isn't just a group. It's a network. Banks, courts, police departments, media companies, threads everywhere. And you're carrying the messages that keep those threads tight. One night, a senior member stops you before you leave. "You're careful," he says. "That's high praise here." A week later, you're called back to the chamber. The same circular table, but this time there are only 6 people present. The silver pin is replaced with a gold one. Your new title, Operator. Now the real work begins. Level 3. The Operator. Your first real decision happens at 2:17 a.m. A phone rings once. You answer. "Problem at Dock 14, the voice says. Then the call ends. No details. Operators solve problems without instructions. You drive 30 minutes to the port. 3 men are waiting beside a shipping container. One is bleeding, another looks terrified. The third hands you a tablet. Inside the container are electronics worth about $2.3 million, illegal imports. The bleeding man tried to skim from the shipment. Not much, $40,000 worth of components. The society considers that theft. You're not told what to do, but the other 2 men are watching you, waiting. This is your first real test of authority. You remember the rules. The system must appear perfectly controlled. You tell the loyal worker to leave. Then you look at the thief. He keeps saying it was a mistake, that he needed money, that he has kids. You nod. You understand. But the system doesn't run on sympathy. It runs on precedent. You take his phone, smash it against the dock railing, and tell him he's banned from every port contract connected to the society. Blacklisted. No violence, just economic death. He'll lose every job within a week. It's cleaner, more efficient. The society approves. You learned something that night. Power isn't loud, it's administrative. You handle disputes, enforce rules, manage operations. You supervise teams of initiates and couriers. And slowly something inside you changes. You stop seeing individuals. You start seeing roles, assets, risks, variables. 3 years pass. You now control operations in 2 cities. Your income passes $600,000 annually, none of it tied to your name. And one night, during a private meeting, someone across the table calls you something new. Director. You've crossed the midpoint. Level 4. The Director. Directors manage systems, not people. Your responsibility is flow, money flow, information flow, influence flow. Every week you sit in a glass office overlooking a city that has no idea you exist. On your desk are reports, political donations, legal investigations, stock acquisitions, bribes disguised as consulting fees. The society now moves hundreds of millions of dollars through structures you oversee. Shell companies in Singapore, trust funds in Switzerland, real estate through Delaware LLCs. Everything legal, technically. You're not breaking laws anymore. You're shaping them. A senator's campaign suddenly receives $3 million from anonymous donors. A regulatory agency delays a ruling by 6 months. A news story disappears before publication. Your job is alignment, ensuring every piece moves smoothly. But the system isn't perfect. One afternoon, you receive a warning. A journalist is digging too deeply. She's connecting financial trails. As director, the decision is yours. You could bury the story, offer her money, or destroy her credibility. You choose the third option. Within 48 hours, leaked emails suggest she fabricated sources in a previous article. Her editor suspends her. The story dies. You never meet her. You never speak to her. But her career ends because of a decision you made while drinking coffee. That night, you realize something uncomfortable. The society isn't protecting itself anymore. It's shaping reality. 5 directors report to one person, and after 8 years in the role, that person retires. The society calls the meeting. You already know what's coming. Level 5. The Regent. You now oversee multiple directors, entire regions. Your weekly briefings include intelligence from private security firms, financial analysts, and political advisors. The society's revenue across your territory passes $4 billion annually. Legitimate industries, shipping, energy, data centers. But beneath those are quieter operations: market manipulation, strategic bankruptcies, acquisitions through pressure. You don't run crimes, you run leverage. A governor refuses to approve a pipeline project connected to the society. 2 weeks later, a donor withdraws $20 million from his campaign fund. 3 weeks later, an old lawsuit resurfaces. 6 weeks later, he signs the permit. You never threaten anyone directly. You arrange conditions. At this level, loyalty changes. It's no longer about obedience. It's about fear of exclusion. Anyone removed from the network loses access to capital, protection, and opportunity. That fear keeps the machine stable. But power creates distance. Old friends stop calling. Family members notice you travel constantly. Your phone has 5 layers of encryption. Your name rarely appears in public. You've become something else, not quite visible, not quite hidden. And then, during a closed meeting in Geneva, the council votes. Your title changes again. Now you sit among the architects of the society itself. Level 6. The Councilor. There are 9 of you, 9 counselors. You meet 4 times a year, always in different countries, private estates, mountain lodges, underground conference rooms beneath luxury hotels. Every counselor controls enormous power, but the council controls direction. Which industries the society enters, which governments it influences, which global crises become opportunities. During your first meeting, a report appears on the table. A developing country is about to default on $90 billion in debt. The council discusses it calmly. If the collapse happens, the society can buy national infrastructure for pennies: ports, airports, telecommunications. You vote to accelerate the collapse: financial pressure, quiet capital withdrawals. Within 8 months, the country defaults. Within 14 months, society-controlled firms own half its logistics network. You watch the headlines: economic crisis, international negotiations, aid packages. But behind the curtain, the outcome was decided in a private room months earlier. This is the level where the illusion disappears. Governments aren't the top of the pyramid. They're middle management. You sleep less now, not from stress, from awareness. You know how the machine works, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. But even the council answers to someone. Just one person.
Level 7. The Grandmaster. When the previous Grandmaster dies, the council votes unanimously, you. There's no ceremony, no crown, just a quiet transfer of authority. Every division reports upward. Every council vote flows through you. You're not managing operations anymore. You're managing continuity. The society has existed for over a century. Your job is ensuring it exists for another. You read archives going back decades, political coups influenced quietly, industries built from nothing, wars that created profitable supply chains. You start noticing patterns. The society doesn't chase chaos, it positions itself around it. Your daily routine becomes strangely quiet. Morning briefings, strategic approvals, private meetings with counselors. Your decisions affect billions of dollars and millions of lives. But the process feels almost boring, administrative, clinical, and incredibly lonely. No peers, no equals, just responsibility. People treat you less like a man and more like a symbol. The system no longer needs your personality, it needs your stability. Years pass, and slowly you realize something unsettling.
Even the Grandmaster isn't the top. There's one final level, a role so quiet it barely exists. Level 8, the Architect. You step down. Officially, the Grandmaster retires. Unofficially, you become something else, the Architect. You don't attend meetings anymore. You don't sign approvals. You don't issue orders. You observe. From outside the system you helped run. Your phone rarely rings. When it does, it's the Grandmaster asking for perspective, not permission, just perspective. You spend most days reviewing long-term forecasts, demographics, energy shifts, emerging technologies. Your role is simple. Design the next 50 years, where the society should move, which industries will dominate, which nations will rise or fall. You write quiet memos that shape decisions long after you're gone. No public recognition, no official power, but enormous influence and enormous isolation. You walk through cities anonymously, watching people live lives completely unaware of the machinery above them. The strange part is realizing the society was never about power. It was about continuity. You weren't building dominance. You were maintaining a system older than you and long after you. One evening, during a rare visit to headquarters, you pass through the stone hallway toward the chamber. The door opens. Inside, 12 figures sit around the circular table, and in the center of the room stands a young man, nervous, silent, a candle burning in front of him. An envelope slides across the table. You recognize the moment instantly. Level 1. The Initiate. He thinks this is just a test, just a job, just a strange opportunity. He doesn't understand the machine he's stepping into, but he will. Because somewhere tonight, a door will close behind him, and the system will begin shaping another life.